Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, friends of ethical sport and business. It is a true honor. It is actually a personal pleasure to be here to speak to you today about leadership. We are meeting in a city deeply devoted to football, which makes this moment feel very much like a home game for me. I was born and raised here, educated here, and I spent over a decade in the leadership team of the FC Basel, the city's sportive pride. And it was there, in the stadium, on the pitch, in the locker rooms and boardrooms, where I have learned what leadership really means. Why? It is so important that leaders feel the interplay between their own attitude and own actions on the one side, and the performance, not the success, not the wins, not the points, not the ranking of the people entrusted to them. And why ethics are the foundation of any sustainable high performance of human beings, shaping how we lead, shaping how we team, and how we successfully combine both. To make it very clear, I am not talking here about theory. I'm not talking about voluntary soft factors. I have witnessed this interplay time and again in my life, in the club, in the law firm, in courtrooms, and in private. In many encounters and experiences, it has become obvious to me that the mastering of this interplay with empathy and emotional competence, the leading of people, is not a fixed concept. It has no perfect formula, but it is a continuous, often very humbling learning process. Therefore, my first message to you, which I would like to share, leadership is mindset. True leadership isn't not what we know, it's how we think and how that thinking shapes our actions. It does not require a high IQ or sophisticated skills. And please, never mix up intelligence with morality. There is no connection between them. Leadership, as its core, about the uniquely human capacity to be conscious. We claim to be the only species to be conscious. So be conscious of my abilities, of my values, and of my blind spots. Therefore, true leadership begins with honest self-reflection. Who am I? What do I stand for? How do I affect others? Self-reflection is so crucial for leaders because it helps us hold ourselves to an ethical standard, not just when it's easy, but especially when it is very inconvenient. There is no hiding. Not for leaders, not for anybody here in the room. Our ethics are revealed every single day in the way we listen, in the way we treat people, in the way we cooperate with them. This shows clearly leadership lives in our mindset and in our actions with others. Do I show respect to those who depend on me? Do I create an atmosphere of trust and of fairness? Do I act for the whole or just for myself, for my own benefit? The answers of these questions are more than just management practices. They are moral imperatives and build the ethical heart of leadership. This brings me to my second message. Leadership means impact. Leadership is never well deserved. It's not a merit and it's not a status. It's not organizational chart. Leadership exists for one reason only: to make a difference in the lives of others. The question every leader should ask is, how do people feel? How do people feel when they are around me? True impact comes from positive interaction with others, human interaction, not from shifting blame, not from increasing pressure, not from isolating others in failure. It comes from building a space of trust where people feel safe, seen, and empowered to contribute and to grow. Leadership is never about standing above the team. It's about walking the talk It's about alongside the team, leading by example, sharing the path. Of course, leaders carry the ultimate responsibility for decisions, the ultimate responsibility for results, but they should carry it with the same humility they expect from their own teams. This is all not about altruism. It's about effectiveness. Because leading with impact is not a sacrifice. Leading with impact is very smart. It's in your own interest. I learned this in the world of football, where the rules are brutally clear. When the team performs, when the team wins, the coach, the president, everybody, we are all celebrated. When the team fails, the leaders are the first to be held accountable. No excuses, no scapegoats. In business, we often see the opposite. When things go wrong, it's the employees who pay the price. This lesson is simple and honest. Leadership without team performance is meaningless. Power means nothing if it does not serve a shared success with others. Having all said that, the headlines of our time are not easy to digest. I'm both deeply impressed and deeply concerned. So allow me just for the moment to broaden the lens a little bit. Let's talk about ethical leadership in today's society. We all live in times in which the global team of humanity, the global team of our human beings, face challenges of historic scale. A climate in crisis, societies shaken by war, instability, and division, global virtual platforms that reward ego over empathy, and self-optimization over solidarity. And now, self-learning AI agents that will soon reshape the foundations of human life and human cooperation. And in the middle of all these challenges of highest complexity, something else is happening, quietly but dangerously. The erosion of trust, the breakdown of cooperation. The two pillars of freedom and democracy. What a tragic paradox. At the very moment the world needs ethical leadership the most, it seems to vanish. We see leaders acting not in service, but in self-interest, confusing power with privilege, mistaking selfishness for self-leadership. This must worry us, since we know from our evolution that trust-based cooperation is not a nice to have. It's not something of sports, no. It is humanity's sole survival strategy. It is human secret of success. That's why I believe strongly and simply, if we want humanity not just to survive, but to maintain its place in the world, then we need leaders who live cooperation, integration, and solidarity in every single decision and in every relationship. We need role models who see leadership not as a privilege of power, but as ethical responsibility for the weakest of the weaker. We need leadership for the sake of future generations. To borrow the words of Mo Gavdat, former tech front-runner, geek, thinker, and visionary, the way we treat AI today, the same super intelligent agents will treat our children tomorrow. Let me use this powerful warning to express my heartfelt gratitude to your association, to the World Forum, to all of you here today. Thank you for your engagement, shared commitment to and interest in ethical leadership, far beyond the relevance of the playing field of a football club, for your contribution to an ethical and trustworthy human coexistence now and in the future. And thanks so much for the chance to share this moment and many thoughts with you today. Thank you very much.